What's up, beautiful people? Today, we will be reviewing each upgrade that led us to what we think is the best truck suspension setup ever. And we'll be showing you how each upgrade improves the ride in some off-road conditions. So you'll see the before, during, and after of how this truck handled. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You definitely don't want to miss the upcoming episodes of us pushing this new suspension to the limits in Baja, Mexico. We began this venture last October by driving out to Grand Junction, where we were getting our first custom-built piece for our suspension. All right, here we are near Grand Junction, and we are going to get some springs for the truck. So we stopped past here, we left Crested Butte, and now we're off to go get our truck weighed to get some custom truck springs. We're going to go get our truck weighed to get some custom trucks. What are we getting? We're going to get our truck weighed to get some custom leaf springs to make sure we get a better ride, because now we have some felling wedges in there. Something we learned on YouTube to activate the overload springs. This was our first homemade suspension upgrade. After first installing the camper in the back of this truck, we had so much sag in it. So we ran over to YouTube, did a bunch of research, and found out that we can place some felling wedges in the suspension to activate those overload springs to help with that sag. But sadly, as you've seen, it did not help with the wobble and bounce at all. We had two options here. One, we could have went with airbags, but there's one big risk here. If you're in the middle of nowhere and that airbag pops, you're kind of SOL. So since we're planning to go really remote and go out in the middle of nowhere like we did in Baja, we wanted something that couldn't fail us. So we decided to go with the full custom leaf springs that was going to be made for our truck's exact weight on each corner. So the plan is we're camping here for the night, and we'll head out to Alcan in the morning. As you can see, we are at a very beautiful spot. We woke up in the morning and headed straight for the spring shop. This wobble is so bad, it always used to throw all of our stuff around in the truck camper in the back. So we know we had to do something, because every time we used to get to our destination, we would open the camper and see our stuff everywhere because that wobble would shake everything up. And look at that, we definitely need some new tires and wheels that are better suited for off-roading, because we don't want to be slipping and sliding. The first measurement we needed for our new custom springs was the full weight of our truck with the truck camper on it. The call button. I want to weigh the front axle and the rear axle so I can get some new leaf springs installed. Weigh the truck and the truck camper separately, because I just wanted to see what my full weight was on this truck camper. The dry weight of our camper was 1,850 pounds. We filled up the 30-gallon water tank, and we added all of our clothes, food, and other ancillary items, and the truck camper weighed 2,720 pounds. That means all of those items weighed around 875 pounds, and our truck weighed 7,660 pounds, bringing us to a total of 10,380 pounds, leaving us with only 620 pounds of extra cushion. One of the most important factors when getting a truck camper is your payload capacity. You can find this on the sticker in your door jamb, and it should show you pounds of payload that your truck can safely handle. And yes, there are two stickers. The other sticker shows your gross vehicle weight rating, your GVWR. This is the maximum weight that your truck should ever be. Be really careful by overweighing your truck, because it could end up like this. But after weighing the truck, we were off to Alcan for them to get their final measurements. We took a measurement of the back wheel well and how far it was off the ground, and it was only 42 inches. So I'm excited to see how much lift we get with our new leaf springs. Next, we headed back to Denver for our second biggest upgrade. We went to our favorite 4x4 shop in Denver, High Country 4x4, to check out some new tires and wheels. We ended up choosing 35-inch Falcon Wild Peak AT4W and some 17-inch Method wheels. This was a massive upgrade in comfort of the ride. Here, getting the new tires on. We went from 20-inch wheels and 32-inch tires to 17-inch wheels and 35-inch tires. We put so much more rubber and air between us and the road, which definitely helps out in smoothing that ride out. And oh boy, did it make a big difference right away. So here's our current setup. Up to this point, we already had our 4x4 shop install some Thurn front coils, which provided a 1.5-inch lift to allow us to fit those 35-inch tires in there a little bit more comfortably. We also added some Carly shocks, but we found out they were a little bit too small for our truck's weight. So we may be replacing those. Keep on watching. We also installed a new traction bar to help with stability of these new big 35-inch tires. Our other homemade upgrade was some timberings, which took the place of where the airbag would go to help with the sag, which they kind of did, but it kind of made the drive a little bit harder every time you would thump up against those. It was finally time to get our new leaf springs installed. All right, here at the spring shop, and we're about to get these new springs. This little half job I did with some felling wedges wasn't quite holding up to all the weight, especially with the new bike. So we're going to get the new springs and let's see how this baby sits once we get her all done. Out with the old and in with the new. Remember, we were sagging in the back and it only came up to 42 inches? Well, now we're at 44 inches. And we couldn't wait to test these new springs out. This trip has been very fun. We've had a little trip to Grand Junction to get our new springs on the truck installed, which has made a tremendous difference. So Grand Junction's about 4 hours away from where we live, and then Moab was like an hour and a half away from where we were at in Grand Junction. So we thought, hey, we weren't planning on camping this weekend, but we're already out here. So we came out to Moab, started to go on this rim rocker trail, and then found this absolute beautiful spot. Yesterday, we rode the motorcycle all around. We went into Moab, went to Fins and Things, and did a little off-road trail, which was very interesting, very fun. The rock parts were great, and we did some amazing rock parts. Alexis had to get off the bike a few times because some of the ramps were just extremely steep and extremely high to go up.
He made that look easy.
And then we went and discovered arches. We went and seen the Delicate Arch at the Arches National Park. And I would have to say it was a pretty successful trip. Now we're about to head back home on the Rim Rocker Trail to just do some reconnaissance. We keep hearing that that's just a beautiful road here in Colorado that kind of connects Colorado and Utah and Moab. And we're going to go look for different campsites for future stays and just go and have a beautiful ride home. And yeah, this has been a very great trip. Super ecstatic about the truck.
Here we found a few friends that tried to hide from us behind the tree, but once they saw us see them, they were out of here. Here's a clip before where you can see how much faster the camper would be swaying and bouncing before, but now it sways a lot slower. But since we still have these smaller shocks, you can see that it still swings a bit, but a lot slower. So maybe some new shocks will help this out, which brings us to our next big upgrade.
Here at my 4x4 shop to get rid of these old shocks and get some 2.5 Foxes. So we'll see how they turn out.
We decided to go with the Fox Performance Elite Series 2.5 adjustable shocks, which were tuned by AccuTune Off-Road. They tuned each corner of the truck to its specific weight and new leaf springs. These were quite the upgrade. We were going from 2-inch shocks to 2.5-inch shocks.
On there? Yeah. Finally checking out our full suspension, and now we're fully testing those out. And then since then we also got the new custom leaf spring package that just made the world of difference. And as we're driving out here now, this is 10,000 times smoother than anything that we've experienced with this many bumps. So far so good. There's the campsite. All right, just first time having a shift into 4-wheel drive. We got our driver here, excited, and we got a pretty steep little adventure to head on to. So go ahead, Alexis.
Do you notice how quickly that shock just recovered right there? That's from those shocks. They really do a good job of getting the wheel back to where it started after that bump.
This is a pretty gnarly trail. Whew. This is gonna be fun. This is pretty steep. Woo-wee. So this is the steepest that we've ever drove the camper, so this is gonna be fun. Slow. And here is our next little obstacle. Pretty decently sloped. All right, we got to clear this back tire. So go a little bit forward, slow. All right, all right, all right, okay. Stop. We got some tree branches in the way. And slide back a little bit. All right, a little bit more. Stop. All right. Woo-wee. There you go. Go, go, go. Nice, good work. And she kind of did that very easily. A little bit of scratches, you know, but that's the price we got to pay to get out here into some nice. Good job. High five. Where do we want to put our campsite or our truck? The sun is setting over here on the west. So that tells me the sun is going to come up over here. Look at this view. I think I want that view. All right. Butternut squash raviolis. We have a little bit of trout. I love the skin, so definitely keeping the skin in there. But yeah, I am excited. Got a little snow going on. See it. So you guys know when we came up here, this was a very narrow, rocky, steep little trail to come in here, and this was our first test of our truck to see if it could make it up some steep, rocky terrain, right? But a funny thing is, we completely went a back road way, and it's good because we did get to test the limitations of our truck, which we haven't met yet. We did have to put it in four-wheel drive to make it through some of those sections. But yeah, all in all, good testing. But the funniest thing is, when we got to camp, we seen this road that continued, right? And we were wondering where that road went. And funny enough, it was a road that we passed to get here. So the maps that we were following to try to find a good camp spot kind of brought us a roundabout way where we came in through the back door instead of the front door. And we're going to show you how incredibly easy it was to get to this campsite. All right, so we're about to head out. And as I mentioned, we got these new shocks, these Fox 2.5 Performance Elites, and they have adjustments on them. High speed adjustment and a low speed adjustment. And even though it sounds counterintuitive, high speed adjustment is for when you're going slow. So you're off-roading and you hit a big rock really quick. That high speed adjustment is to push that shock up and allow it to be a lot softer. So if you're going into a really hard, difficult off-road trail and you want your tires to be able to capitulate and to move quickly, you want to lower that high speed adjustment to be able to take fluid out and to allow that wheel to kind of move. And our low speed adjustment is for we're on the highway, we're driving faster, and we want to control that rebound for that shock. So like on the highways, you'll feel it, or on dirt roads, forest roads that are a little bumpy, you can adjust that to be softer or harder. So on the way up here, I adjusted the low speed and cranked it up a little bit to stiffen it up, to see if I can stiffen up the ride, and I think it stiffened it up too much. So now I'm about to go ahead and lower it back down to its neutral position to see if we notice any difference in the ride of these forest roads and highway roads. And this right here is where you adjust the knob at. So if you see here, we have two knobs, high speed adjustment, and then the smaller one is the low speed adjustment. I turned it right to turn it up. Now I'm going to turn it just one full click. You got to kind of pay attention to when you feel the little click. And there it is. It kind of stops you a little bit, and you can tell that you're in a little spot. So now they're back down, and here we go. All right, got that one. Last but not least. And we are good to go. All right, let's hit the road, Jack. All right, we're getting ready to head out. And as I mentioned, that we came in one direction, which was very difficult and very hard, and the truck made it, but that was that direction. And when going on a walk, we found this direction. Because we're like, oh, it's still kind of bumpy. And then this road right here, as you can look to your right, is super smooth, and to your left, as we go straight, that's all the off-roading or hard off-roading that we needed to accomplish, and the rest of the road is this smooth, this wide. So, you know, it's what you learn when you're out here. It's pretty fun. There's a couple of bumps. Oh wow, I softened that suspension up. Can you tell the difference? I can tell the difference already. And that's what you learn when you're out here finding camping spots and exploring. Like I said, we got a little chance to see and push the limits of this truck, and we understood we didn't push the limit. We still have, I think, a lot of ways to go. This truck can handle itself pretty well off-road.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You definitely don't want to miss the upcoming episodes of us pushing this new suspension to the limits in Baja, Mexico.
Oh yeah, she's wanting to scream down this road, isn't she?